Hello everybody out there in YouTube land, and welcome to DC Fans United. So today I am finally taking a look at Damage number 5. Now I've done reviews on Damage 1 through 4, so be sure to check those out with links in the description box. And I've also done lots of other reviews, including other New Age of Heroes books like The Silencer and Sideways, so be sure and check those out too if you haven't already. So Damage number 5 is a little different because the art isn't done by Tony Daniel. Now, Tony Daniel does do the cover, so we'll talk about the cover a little bit. Personally, I don't like it, really at all. It's definitely the worst cover of the series so far, and it's just really subpar. It's just an up-close face of Damage, and you know, his face surely isn't his strongest feature. So let me know what you think down at the bottom, but just kind of a waste of Tony Daniel's time to draw that. And all of the words over it too just kind of clutter it. So Tony Daniel did do the cover. As far as the art within the book, it's done by Diahone Neves, and Robert Vendetti does continue doing the writing. So that's good, and the strongest point of this book is definitely the writing. The writing's definitely the strongest point. I think it's pretty good, but the art just doesn't compare to when Tony Daniel was doing it, or even the artist they had on the last issue. So we'll go ahead and start off, although I should say Trevor Scott is the inker and the colorist is Alan Pasalaquita. So we'll start off on the first page, and this is not a great way to start a comic, in my opinion. And I'll just go ahead and say that while I do like this issue overall, it's definitely my least favorite issue of Damage. Like issue 3, I would probably give a 4.5 out of 5. This I'd give like a 2 out of 5. So anyways, we start off and Poison Ivy is wrapping up Damage in a bunch of vines, and as you can see, which is a really horrible image, a giant vine's going down his throat and choking him. So that's how the last issue ended, and we're picking up right where that ended at. We continue with that, and she uses her vines to such an extent it actually chokes him and he passes out. So that's kind of weird too. Damage's power levels are all over the place, you know. We saw him fight Wonder Woman, we saw him fight Parasite and Giganta and Solomon Grundy back to back. But I guess some vines are able to take him down. I don't know. So Poison Ivy does defeat him, ties him up, and hauls him off. And then there's a little flashback where Damage is in training, and this part's actually kind of good. So this is a bit of an information dump, but it is good information, and it's why I said the writing is the best part of this. So they actually explain a little bit about why the Damage formula works for only an hour, and that he has to rest essentially for 23 hours before he can use it again. They go into detail explaining that, but I'm not going to do that here. So we go to the next page, and this is a page I thought the art was particularly bad. But yeah, we see Damage tied up there, and he has a memory from his past, and he has this memory that says, remember the unknown soldier. So that comes into play later. So then his friend comes in and cuts him out with a machete, gives him some water, and they escape. Poison Ivy sees that they have escaped a little bit later, and this scene's kind of cool because she's having kind of a bipolar thing where her human side and her plant side are conflicting with each other, and her human side doesn't like what she's doing to these people. So I thought that was another instance where the writing was pretty good. I really like it when they have more to a character, especially a villain, than just being, I'm bad. You know, it's actually a lot going on with Poison Ivy. And the way she's drawn is better than the rest of the comics. So if this were a Poison Ivy comic, it would actually be quite good. So then we change scenes. There's this group of people, and they are on the trail of Ethan, who is Damaged. They're trying to find him, and they question someone, and then we're back to Damage, and he's hiding out in the sewer with his buddy, and they're chewing on some sugar cane because they don't have any other food. And then there's this part here which I thought was really weird and not smart on Ethan's part, and I'm sure it'll come into play later. Ethan tells this guy that his plan, because he remembered something about the unknown soldier, is to go to Washington, D.C. and check out the monument, you know, the tomb of the unknown soldier. And it really doesn't make sense that he would tell his friend this, because he ends up just running off anyway. So then, you know, Damage runs away, and then he turns into Damage, and so the hour-long countdown starts, And then we get this page, which is pretty good. Damage bursts out of the ground. We see him there. He lands. Poison Ivy sees him. The way she's drawn looks pretty cool. But she says, "My little monster, I was worried you stomped away in a huff. I'm going to tear the world down, and you'll be a useful instrument in that regard. I have a surprise for you. It's time you meet my partners." And on the next page, we see a bunch of gorillas, and it's seriously, and it says, "Warriors of Gorilla City, attack." So then we find out Gorilla Grodd and Poison Ivy are working together. So the next issue is called Beauty and the Beast, and Grodd says, "Damage, kneel before Grodd." I guess he took a page out of General Zod's book. So this issue also is really short. If you don't count the ads, it's actually only 17 pages. So yeah, take it or leave it. If you're following Damage and you're really invested in the story, I would say buy it. Otherwise, I would say skip it. Even for $2.99. It's really short, the art's not that good, and I mean, you already know the story if you listen this far. Alright, so that's all for now. I'm actually going to be going to a comic book shop tomorrow, so that should be cool. I will have a new comic book day video tomorrow. I'd wanted to do a live stream, but I don't think I can get anyone in on it in time. So that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. You know, please share these videos with people. Share this channel. We're getting close to 1,000 subscribers, so let's try and get up to 1,000. I think we can do it. So yeah, that's all for now. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hit the bell for notifications, and as always, thank you for being a part of DC Fans United.
End of line.